CQ the X, CQ the X, CQ the X. This is Havana calling. CQ the X, CQ the X, CQ the X. This is Radio Havana calling all shortwave listeners and radio amateurs. Welcome to... DXers Unlimited, Radio Havana's weekly feature dedicated to the fascinating world of radio communications.
Hi, amigos radio aficionados all around the world now enjoying part of your spare time listening to this radio happy program that is on the air twice weekly, the twice weekly radio show, DXers Unlimited. I'm your host, Arnaldo Arnicoro, and my amateur radio, my ham radio call sign is CO2KK, Charlie Oscar 2 Kilo Kilo. And it's, as always, really nice to establish two-way contact with listeners of this show on the ham band, something that happens sometimes, and it's very rewarding. Here's now item one of today's program, amigos. I will attempt now to provide you with a panoramic view about how amateur radio operators all over the Caribbean, Central America, the USA, and Canada have provided extremely valuable alternative communications to help the people in the affected areas of the hurricane. My latest news brought via monitoring several ham radio emergency nets provided details about the devastation done by Hurricane Maria on the small island nation of Dominica in the Caribbean. Statement by Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt said that he was concentrated in emergency relief actions, including helping people that are trapped in demolished homes and those who are injured. Prime Minister Skerritt said that Dominica will need all the help it can get and as soon as possible. The use of the high-frequency shortwave bands between 3.5 and 14 megahertz, 80 meters to 20 meters, made possible to send and receive weather-related messages that help forecasters to make better, more precise, detailed information about the state of the hurricane and their possible track. Ham radio nets like Southern on 14265 kilohertz, 20 meters, and the Hurricane Watch net on 14325 kilohertz kept active and showed very well-organized procedures by extremely well-trained net control operators. Here in Cuba, the devastating effect of Hurricane Irma makes it the worst in many years. Members of the Cuban Federation of Radio Amateurs, la Federación de Radio Aficionados de Cuba, activated the many times rehearsed procedures to establish national, provincial, and municipal emergency nets operating on the 40 meters band for long-distance links and the 2 meters band FM mode for local and provincial links. Sí, amigos, you're now listening to a special edition of DXers Unlimited, now on the air. A very powerful Category 4 and 5 Hurricane Maria is aiming to St. Croix on the U.S. Virgin Islands and also to Puerto Rico and later towards the Dominican Republic. More about the extremely valuable contribution of the National Amateur Radio Associations to provide emergency communications during the three most recent weather events, Harvey, Irma, and Maria, coming up in a few seconds after a short break for station ID. I'm Arnicoro in Havana, a city that is making a huge effort to recover from the damages, extensive damages done by Hurricane Irma to our capital city. This is Radio Havana Cuba. The name of the show is DXers Unlimited, a program designed to promote the development of a radio hobby in general, and very especially amateur radio. Yes, my friends, many radio amateur operators are providing now alternative emergency-related communications within the area of impact, of possible impact of Hurricane Maria, the second most powerful storm of this very active tropical hurricane season that extends until the end of November. I spent some time Monday evening on a local weather net that has been running on the local Havana metropolitan area 2 meters band repeater, 145.190. And it was very rewarding for me, a very rewarding experience to hear many newcomers to amateur radio participating and learning more about how to run emergency procedures, emergency communications procedures. It was very easy to identify the newcomers as they used the CL, the Charlie Lima prefix that's issued to third-class beginners stations. Second class are CM, Charlie Mike, and the first class operators are CO, Charlie Oscar. Now, item 3 of today's edition of DXers Unlimited, coming to you from Radio Havana, Cuba. Item 3. This very active tropical hurricane season on the Atlantic, Caribbean, and Gulf of Mexico regions has brought the possibility of using digital keyboard-to-keyboard modes, making possible to communicate even under very poor propagation conditions. And as a matter of fact, as amigo Randall, our longtime listeners from Utah, USA, just wrote to me recently, signals that are not even heard on headphones are recovered from the noise and translated into perfect copy text on the screen of the computer. A good example also brought to my attention by amigo Randall is that a supposedly dead 10 meters band, the JT65 digital mode shows not one or two, but several stations call signs that you can attempt to call. By the way, JT65 is the first of a fantastic digital mode created by Nobel Prize laureate Joy Taylor, K1JT, Kilo 1 Juliet Tango, that made this unique communication software freely available to all radio amateurs. A very nice gesture indeed from Joy Taylor. Even the most simple digital mode, in my opinion, which is PSK31, is able to provide many hours of enjoyment when poor propagation conditions make the use of single sideband noise next to impossible. Or standard CW Morse code radio telegraphy are difficult to work when not trained operators are on the air. Joy Taylor has now developed a still better digital mode known as FT8, Fox Tango 8. I say again, it's the FT digital mode that has picked up a lot of interest from ham radio fans, digital fans, all around the world recently, the FT8. Let me add that the PSK31 keyboard-to-keyboard digital mode is, in my opinion, the way to start. You can test it easily because it does not even need a radio-to-computer interface connection. So, to start receiving the signals, just search the World Wide Web and download the FLDG software package. Fox Lima Delta India Golf India FLDG software package. And yes, you can be ready to copy the name of it again. FLDG Fox Lima Delta India Golf India. And let me tell you that the downloaded files are very easy to understand. There are two spots where to pick up PSK31 digital signals with a high probability of seeing them on the screen. One frequency is 14,070, 14,070 kilohertz on the 20 meters band during the local daytime hours. That's on 20 meters. And also at night you can pick up signals on 7070, that's at night on 40 meters, 7070 kilohertz, also on the 40 meters band. And also you can try another frequency which is around 7035 to 7037 kilohertz on 40 meters. Whenever signals are present on the frequency, you will see them in the waterfall display of the screen of the FLDG program. Search the web for all the advantages of radio amateur signals, digital communications modes, and you will learn more and make them your favorite. DXers Unlimited middle of the week edition now continues. I'm Arnie Coro, CO2KK in La Habana, Cuba. This is Radio Havana Cuba, the station you're listening to now, and more about today's second topic, amateur radio, digital communications modes, and how using those modes, emergency communications links can be used much more efficiently than single sideband voice communications. Add to that the fact that digital modes support the transmission of slow scan television signals. Yes, you can see pictures too, making it possible to transmit photos that are very useful when handling situations of emergency. The simplest possible audio coupling feed from the radio loudspeaker to the computer input using the machine's microphone works amazingly well. As a matter of fact, just placing the microphone close to the radio loudspeaker will immediately show the noise on the digital software waterfall display. And yes, amigos, if you try to pick up PSK31 signals during the local evening hours, then try them on 40 meters, around 7070 kilohertz, where many stations operate. Also, it is around 7035 to 7037 that you will be able to pick up DX signals on 40 meters PSK31 mode. And now at the end of the program, a fast shortwave propagation update for you. Solar activity is very low, so the daytime maximum visible frequencies will be well below 21 megahertz during the local daytime hours, even on the best possible north to south propagation path. Nighttime propagation will be better, following the typical autumn equinox patterns with good signals between 3 and 10 megahertz all along the evening. And please send your signal reports, opinions, and comments to info@rhc@cnet.cu or via airmail, send a letter or postcard to Arnie Coro. Last name is spelled Charlie, Oscar, Romeo, Oscar, Radio Havana, Cuba, Havana, Cuba. And don't forget to monitor the frequencies used by radio amateurs for handling Hurricane Maria, asking 325, the Hurricane Watchnet.
And that's all for today. This is Arnie Coro, Radio Amateur CO2KK, your host here at Radio Havana's DXers Unlimited, saying 73 and very good DX.
DXers Unlimited heard every Tuesday here with Arnie Cotto, also on Sundays, as he says, Sunday and Monday UTC days here on Radio Havana Cuba. DXers Unlimited, a very popular program on RHC.